Hello, hello. Welcome to our second episode of, what do we call this? Real Estate Confidential. So we're going to dig deep into stuff. We're blunt in this show. We're going to call it like it is. If you're sensitive, go away. That's what I'm going to tell you. Honestly, we're not going to sugarcoat anything here. We're going to tell you what we do, what we're good at, what we're bad at, and hopefully with time we'll get more people in there, more experts, I guess. I'm an expert at one thing. I'm an expert at cold calling. I've done over 10,000 hours of cold calling. They say if you've done anything more than 10,000 hours, you become an expert. Even though I'm so-called expert, I sometimes find myself that I'm lacking, and that's why I try to go back and go back to basics. Anyways, how was your day today, Vernon?
It's good. It's good.
You look tense today, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
I can feel it.
I've got a lot going on. Yeah, it's like, I got so much going on, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm making and life's good on that end.
Awesome. I'm doing great. So I see a new hat you got there. Can you show me the hat a little bit? You got me one of them. Thank you for that. It says Short Term Pro. Wow. Are you paying us to sponsor this? Are we getting any money? Are we getting any kickbacks for this? We promise we're not going to get any logos in here. But that's a nice looking hat. I had to call it out. So, anyway, Awesome. So we talked last week. Our first episode was of attracting clients, and we touched on a lot of stuff. And I do talk fast. Forgive me. Sometimes I do not enunciate. I listen to myself. I'm like, holy cow! I got to slow it down. You should see me on Red Bull. By the way, I quit Red Bull about 6-7 years ago. You will not understand a word I'm saying. But anyway, so we got some comments. People reach out to us, and thank you for the ones that reach out to us. We're gonna to make the show better. We need feedback. My feelings don't get hurt if you tell me good, bad, or indifferent. So we'll try to fix it. If you're sensitive, do not listen to this show because we're going to be blunt. We're going to call it out as it is. Sorry, that's how it is. This is probably I want this show to be no sugarcoating, no PC correct. We will not talk politics, but we're going to call it like it is. And I think sometimes. I do things, and I don't think I'm doing them the wrong way unless someone else sees it. You don't see the things you do wrong, right? So, but when somebody else calls it out, you notice it, and that's when you know you're going to start getting better at it. So, in any case, Vernon, you got some comments. People reached out to you and told you we need to dig deep on some certain topics. What were they?
First off, you're going to be somewhere next week. Are you going somewhere?
Yes, I'll be leaving town this Thursday, going to Turkey. I'll be Turkey. You love the turkey that you eat, Turkey, the country. I'm going to be in Istanbul. So this will be the first time, believe it or not, I'm traveling with my wife and kids. Typically, my wife goes alone with the kids, and then I go after her or whatever. So the only time we flew together was we were leaving from Italy to Turkey. Again, I love Turkey, by the way. And it was only a 2-hour trip, so I went with her. So, but this time it's going to be a 12-hour one-shot trip, and typically it will be 17-18 hours. We're going to spend a week in Turkey, and then we're going to go to Lebanon, my homeland, Lebanon, Middle East. We're going to spend a week there, and then we're going to go back to Italy, spend a week, and then come back. Hopefully I'll be recharged. I don't know, with 2 little kids, an 8-month and a 2.5-year-old, I may need a vacation when I come back. Anyways, what do you have planned this next 2 weeks, Vernon?
Yeah, man. I've got a lot going on. I'm going to try to cover some of you while you're gone. Do what you got to do to keep all that going.
I know, right?
I'm on 42 properties right now, properties next beside, and I've got a lot of stuff like that going on. Son's playing football now.
That's taking a lot of your time. I noticed that. Prod Daddy, yeah.
They got me Friday night pretty bad.
Well, it's Maryville, man. Yeah.
We sat on the couch Friday night after it was all said and done, ate some nachos and things. I think he's good now. We talked about building it back and doing what he's got to do. It's really been busy, really fun. But I'm excited about what we've been doing here. And I know we had a lot of folks that were wanting to know more about what we're doing. We had some folks want to talk about social media. We kind of agree. We're both not social media experts.
No.
We are experts, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We feel like I think social media really just needs to be a good content, consistent story, and just be out there. So we're going to say that. What I want to pick your brain on today a little bit about is one thing I do believe that you're an expert on. You're kind of a master in. You've logged a lot of hours in. Tell us a little bit about cold calling. We have a lot of people that are asking about, how do you guys do this? Because obviously we get leads. They're in our CRM. We don't ever call them. We're not ever going to make any money. We're not ever going to. We're just paying for nothing. So tell us kind of how you handle that. I know you've got a lot of leads coming in here recently. Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah. So I don't want to completely tell everybody that you're not an expert on social media and I'm not an expert. I think we both know enough to be dangerous. So let me just touch a little bit on that, what I do, and then I can see what you do. So typically, what I do on social media is I'm active on social media in a positive way, right? I do not, by the way, and people know that your Facebook is the highlight of your life. I hear that a lot. I put good and bad. Like if I have a bad, well, I don't put anything dramatic. But if I have a bad experience with a sale that I did or what have you, I try to keep it as real as I can be. I'll put stuff on Facebook about it. Just share the story, my experiences with it. Of course, you don't want to get dramatic. You don't want to call people out. But typically, I think the minimum you should do on social media, and I don't know how the algorithms work. Even the experts get called out sometimes because Facebook and all these companies, they change things daily. Like you think this is working and then next 3 days later you find out it's not working. So even the experts are struggling with it. But I think, like you said, consistency, right? Consistency. That's one. Be consistent on Facebook, on Instagram. Do not say Facebook is for old people. Do not say Instagram is for the younger. Or do not say TikTok's for the teenagers, because every one of these people are spending money. So try to be everywhere. I think there's something called Hootsuite that you can publish one place and it goes everywhere. Another big one, it's LinkedIn. I neglected LinkedIn for a long time. I don't know why I did. I have it, but I'm like, okay, I'm already posting on Facebook. I take that same content, copy paste it on LinkedIn, copy paste it on Instagram, copy paste it. You can do that, but the trick to this is you got to remind people that you're in real estate, you're in business. You've heard stories where your cousin, your neighbor has got their house listed. They don't remember you're an agent. They don't. You're a secret agent. So post as much stuff as you can on social media. Make it fun. Keep it positive. If you want to share a story, you don't want to be like knocking people down. Just talk about you, like some challenges that you've had. People like real things. And then the biggest thing is interesting pictures. People love pictures of pets. People love pictures of kids. People, horses, whatever, and scenery. Try to get an eye for that, and then don't put just a post without a picture, because nobody looks at it. The algorithms, I can guarantee you, doesn't look at it. So try to put an image on. So you do that 2 or 3 times a week. I tell people 2 or 3 times a day. If you're new, 2 or 3 times a day. If you don't have business, talk about the classes that you go into. Talk about the company you joined. When I first started, nobody knew who I was. Obviously, I used Keller Williams Success. I was with Keller Williams, and but then again, nobody knew KW. I may call it a KW who. It's funny. I've always joined companies just starting, but yeah, use the success of your company, the technology they have. Put yourself out there, and also be super honest. Do not tell people you know something you do not know. It's better to say, my first listing I got was a $700,000 listing. I went against 5 big agents in town. I'm not going to name them, and I got it. And she asked me, how long you been in real estate? This is a true story. I said 2.5 hours. She laughed. I was like, no, true. I've been in real estate 1 month. I said, but what I don't know, or what I lack in knowledge as far as the business side of it, I know marketing, and I'm hungry, and I'm going to work the hardest for you. But here's what I'm going to do. Her name was Ms. Jones. We're going to get, I remember the name. Oh, my God. I remember the name. I'm going to get somebody who's knowledgeable in my office. I'm going to team up with them, and they're going to help me with the business side of it, and I'm going to do the marketing. And I got the listing. So, yeah, be consistent on social media as much as you can. Keep it positive. And then the biggest thing you need to do, stay away from anything controversial. We come in an election year. It's very, very heated. You may like one candidate versus the other. You may like one topic versus the other. You need to be the Green Party. You know what the Green Party is? The money party. I call it Stay Switzerland, because you're going to offend the left, the right, the middle. Heck, I lost a client over the Florida Gators. I was making a joke. So keep it Switzerland. Do not put anything politics, because you will lose clients. Other than that, let's talk about, you said, about cold calling. So yeah, go ahead.
Add one more thing to that. You talked about LinkedIn. Some of the best connections that I've made in business have been through LinkedIn.
A lot of professionals.
Deal with the decision making. So I've really jumped into LinkedIn about 3 or 4 years ago. And what I began to do was I began to post content on there and make myself an expert on there. And so the thing about LinkedIn for me is, man, some of the biggest connections I've actually got friends who are CEOs of major companies now that I've made friends with, because they're not hanging out on some of these other social sites.
Right.
If it's strictly business and you really want to get to the business folks, provide content, tell your story, and just reach out to those folks. You'd be surprised how many of those folks will actually reach back out to you if they think that you're legitimate. And like I said before, be honest, be truthful, and be
Yeah.
who you are. And
Yeah.
some of my best friends now are CEOs of big corporations, so
Yeah.
I think that LinkedIn tip was a good tip. On top of all that, when it comes to social media, again, I agree 100% with you. I kind of split mine down the middle, like we talked about. I put personal on one thing and business on another. But all of my friends that are on my personal page like to see the football pictures, they see all that. The business side of it, I do keep it strict. There are people that come to both sides, but for me, the biggest thing that I notice about this every day is consistency. Doing
Yeah.
something every day consistently and putting it out there, whether it's a picture or just something to make sure that people see it. The other side of that is like I said before, we get a CRM together, we get all this stuff together, we start paying for leads, whether, I'm not crazy about the leads that you're not crazy about either. I don't know if we'll talk about any of those or not, but, you and I have a pretty good sphere of influence, but that doesn't mean we don't have to hold.
Oh, heck no.
You and I are not
Business.
on phones every day
No,
making
no.
calls.
Yeah.
Number one, I put an ad on Facebook the other day, and I've had 24 people reach out to me about a property that sat dormant for almost a month.
Yeah.
Has any of it panned out? No. The only way I'm going to find out is I've got to make those calls. I've got to qualify to get on there. So, like I said, I kind of consider you an expert in that space. So, can you elaborate a little bit about what a typical day looks like for you? Maybe tell us a little bit about your cold calling technique.
So cold calling, I developed it like really over the years, and I became better and better and better and better because I've talked to the best. And it's amazing. Like you hear, I'm always looking like who's the next star in cold calling, and I'll contact them. Don't be afraid to contact the big people; they'll respond to you. Ricky Carruth, everybody knows he's got like 600,000 followers. This guy called me about 6 months ago. I had to like stop and like, whoa. You never know. I asked him a question, he called me. So I try to contact the big ones, the people who know what they're doing, and I learn from them. For instance, when I first started cold calling, I used to literally call from 8 to 8 at night. If I don't have an appointment, I'd keep calling. And then I found out, and I got a couple of people I brought in, and we did the same thing. And then we start seeing a pattern. From 8 to 11:30, we got more contacts. Then it died down, and then from 5 to 8 we got more contacts. So we switched it, right? So it was like waste of time to do that anyway. So we switched. We start calling from 8 to 11:30, and then I'm not a fan of calling in the evening, to be honest with you, because I feel like people are just getting their home. But kudos to you if you want to do it. I had somebody in my team want to do it. Good for her. But I feel like at 8 to 11:30. So I did that for a while, and then a gentleman named Tim Howell. He's the king of cold calling. Tim Howell is just an amazing. I don't know if you've heard of Tim Howell. He's a KW, not former. Very, very young guy. Started very, he used to come in. He didn't have the money to buy leads, to buy Volcano. He would come in his office at 3 in the morning, go through the tax records, put his leads together, and 8 o'clock he starts calling. So I friend him on Facebook. So I messaged him. I said, man, I know you're too busy for me. He's a big deal now. I said, just tell me, what are the best times to call? 8 to 11:30. So all the big ones, 8 to 11:30. So you asked me my typical day. My typical day is not organized, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. But what you need to add, what we need to say is, if you want to stay consistent and disciplined and do big numbers, what your typical day should be, you should start at 7:30, be your office. Okay, 7:30 to 7:45. Try to get a partner that you can call and then practice your script. Practice your script. It doesn't, you guys go to Starbucks, right? What do you order at Starbucks?
When I go to Starbucks,
Mm-hmm.
what'd you say?
What do you order?
Oh, normally I just get water.
Water.
I'm a water guy, as you know, and I'll maybe get a small snack with some sort of protein.
Okay.
My weight loss is, I can't have a lot of things.
So you do one day, say, the barista goes, what do you want? Say, I want a water. That's a script. They ask me, what do you want? I want a tall ice cream tea with 1 stevia. That's a script. You hear people that go to Starbucks and they be like, I want a frappe, have this, have that, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, holy cow. How come they're so good at it? Because they've done it for so much. That's a script. A script. When you start a script, when you read anybody's script, I read a lot of people's script and I'm like, this is awkward. I cannot say this stuff. And I take it, and when you repeat it, it becomes second nature. So you practice, though. If you're a newbie, go and practice the script. Where do you get scripts from? You can pay big coaches, or you can do it the freebie way, the way I do it. Find somebody that matches your personality. Ricky Carruth doesn't match my personality. He's an uber successful guy. He matches my personality. He's laid back. So some people relate to Ricky Carruth, and he's very, very successful at it. So I listen to his script, but what I learned from him is his objection handling. I cannot do what he does. His script, I'll sleep. But it may match you. So look at somebody like Derek Lipsky's the guy that matches me. The guy is just like talks fast, high energy. Turns out some people, I'm in the South here, people want to, in fact, I was making a call yesterday, the guy was like, whoa, slow it down. What did you say? And I'm like, so find somebody that has the match your personality. Go to YouTube and learn from that person. Another guy that's great is Brandon Morena, and he's got a lot of scripts over there, but he will charge you. Good guy, but I don't blame him. I got 5 listings out of his free script. When COVID hit, I was scared. I was like, okay, I've never called for sale by owners in my life. So I Googled, I YouTube for sale by owner, and this guy comes up, Brandon Morena. Go see him. And from his free script, I got 5 FSBOs. Previous to that, in 10 years, I've listed 2 FSBOs. I don't go after FSBOs. You have to loiter. And so I got five listings from his free script. So I called his office, and I said, hey, I need to sign up with you guys. And the guy started, sell me a pitch. He's starting to pitch me to buy. I'm like, man, this is the easiest sale you're going to make. Tell me what it is. I'll sign up. And I think back then it was $3,000. And my wife looked at me. I paid $3,000. And my wife was like, are you out of your mind? I said, man, I made more, like 10 times that from his free script. So I can only imagine what I'm going to do with this. So go out there, learn that. So 7:30, 7:45, be ready to practice. Get your stuff ready. Be in the zone. This is the worst enemy for anybody, including myself. Okay? If you want to do it right, buy a phone, a prepaid phone that nobody knows the number to. Because any distraction on here, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's a LinkedIn thing, somebody or text, it will take you 17 minutes to get back focused. So eliminate a phone. I have a phone number even my wife doesn't know the number to. So you if you want to do it right, that's how you do it. So if it's an emergency, there's 911. If a client calls you, there's nothing as an emergency. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a fireman. If it's not life or death, it's not an emergency. It can wait. So get a phone number nobody else knows to, and then just put your dollars in and just dial away. And so the key is it's a numbers game, man. Math is accurate. Numbers don't lie. You need to make 100 lead calls a day, meaning 100 leads, 100 addresses, 100 people. 100 addresses, 100 people. So that may take you 200 calls. It may take you 300 calls. Why? Because if you subscribe to like a Land Voice or a Vulcan or RedX or Mojo, what they do, they send you a list of these potential expireds, for sale by owners, whatever they are. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to get you close to them. So it could be one number, it could be 6 or 7 or 8 numbers. They're trying to get you close to them. So it could be any number that's ever been associated with this person. It could be his ex-wife, it could be his mom, it could be his dad, it could be his son. So you're going to get a stack of numbers, and you're trying to get to that person. So that's why it takes longer. It takes long. So you got a dollar going. So you call. So, but sometimes I'm doing 300 calls before I finish my 100 leads. But once you do 100 leads, it never fails. You're going to have 20 contacts. It never fails. It's scary. You could go 70 calls and there's not one contact, and then the next 30 you got 20 contacts. And what is a contact? Let's talk about contact. If you get a hold of the decision maker, and the decision maker hung up the phone on you, I said, go fly a kite. That's a contact. And the system that you have will tell you made a call. That's a contact. So 100 leads, it could take 200-300 calls, 20 contacts, and depending how good you are, you could get anywhere from 5 to 10 appointments. And if you do this every day, consistently, Monday to Friday, you will never have to work with buyers. You'll never have to drive around cars. Think about it. If you get one listing a week, that's 52 listings a year. 99% of agents in this town don't have 52. Can't even dream of having 52 listings. And the reason I said I'm not disciplined, because I'm just human. I get comfortable really easy. So I can turn the volume up and I can turn it down. My biggest ever listings, I got 51 listings. That's 51 listings, 51 listings in 5 weeks. I was a maniac on the phone. And then I got tired of it, and I got all these listings. And by the way, I got them in October, November. That's when I think I was newbie still. I didn't even have money to buy signs to pay for photography. And so I have to go borrow money and pay for that. But then I got nobody was calling me. Nobody's calling me. So I got this October, November, and I remember my coach said, you're going to have an unbelievable spring. I'm like, no, I'm not. And next thing you know, March hit, and the money was coming in. And those 51 listings, I just added a few more over them, carried me for 2 more years. Now, I talked about 2016, December 2016. I had my biggest day in real estate, money wise. I'm not going to say the amount, but it was six figures, over six figures in one day. But that, I say I did it in one day. Technically, I did it in 6 months earlier because I'll put the work behind it. So you gotta contact people. If you're not contacting people, you're not talking about real estate every day. You're not doing the job. So if you want to do door knocking, if you want to do cold calling, if you want to do, I know a guy that goes to the gas station. He found this gas station that's busy at like 7 in the morning, and he goes there. He only pays cash. He puts $5 in gas, and goes stands in line, and it's got his name tag. And by the time he leaves there, he's talked to 5 people about real estate. Oh, you're a realtor? Yeah, I am. Here's my card. Whatever. But the key is 20 contacts a day. How you get to the 20 contacts a day? The easiest way is really to cold call, than driving around and doing all that stuff. So that's a long answer for a short question.
Yeah, sure. So, I think you brought up 2 really good points in there that I follow, and I've been following for years. I used to have 3 buckets, now I have 2. And I'm like you. I have one phone that's strictly business and another that's personal. When I'm on the phone doing business, I'm on my business phone. The one you have that you call me on is my personal. Only people that need that number get that.
Yeah.
Okay? It gets out every once in a while. But even my wife doesn't call me on that other number because she knows that that's my business line. So I think that's really important that you brought up. And on top of that, I think also be somewhere where you're not going to be distracted because, again, what we talked about initially was social media and how we need to post. And all you're doing all day long is sitting there commenting back and forth on social media posts. Those are not content. Those are that's you just messing around. And I find that a lot of people who are not very dedicated to their space, dedicated to their day, dedicated to specific times, will find other reasons not to get on the phone. Either number one, they're too afraid, or they just don't know what they're doing, or they don't have the time because, I love when people tell me they're busy. It's like yourself. I love when people tell me they're busy. You're the same way, okay? You know what it takes to do this business.
Mm-hmm.
You can be busy doing a lot of stuff and not making any money, not getting anything done. And that's the same with calls.
Heck, not to interrupt you, but me and you have done this a lot lately. We've been busy doing projects, right, which is fine. I think we're either brave or stupid because we have to pay the bills eventually. But I think we're confident enough in our skills that we can take off a month on projects like this, knowing that the business. Also, I have some things coming in the pipeline. I'm not going to take off, but yeah, a lot of times, and just to not to be a hypocrite, even though I love cold calling and I love it, I look forward to it. But man, sometimes I'm like trying to find excuses not to do it. It's like going to the gym. I don't want to do it.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, it's like what we always talk about. I mean, you and I both have had personal trainers. We both had diets. Look at this from a health standpoint. Both of us have been through that process of trying to lose weight and keep that consistent. And what we found, just like anything else, is we don't plan our meals, we don't plan our time.
Right.
My wife and I told her this week, I said, we did do some meal planning this week.
Yeah.
Have some lunches out and some things. So I told her, I said, let's boil some eggs, let's get some things together.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with our business. It's the same
Right.
with phone calling, door knocking. You can drive around somebody's neighborhood and never knock on the door, but you drive through the neighborhood and you can be thinking about it. And I'll be honest with you, that full disclosure, we want to be real here. And I've done that. I've driven through a place before.
I was going to tell you that. I'm like, nah.
Competitor in my neighborhood. I'm
Yeah.
mad about it.
Yeah.
I won't get out of the car and go knock on your neighbor's doors and say, hey,
Yeah.
I would like to sell your house one day or list your
Yeah.
house one day, And it's really just a matter of, I don't know why we do it. I think it's human nature. But part of us is...
That's your brain protecting you from rejection. It's your brain is always training you to be comfortable. That's why we take the easy route to everything. That's science. We go a little bit, but this is very important. There's a book that I read. It's called The 5-Second Rule. Mel Robbins. You heard about her?
Yes.
She turned her life around with the 5-second rule. Pretty much, you have 5 seconds. If you say I'm going to get up bed to go to the gym, you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you don't do it in 5 seconds, your brain's going to talk you out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think her whole philosophy is that as soon as your eyes open up, throw your feet over the side of bed, stand up and get out of bed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your brain talks you out of it.
1,000 other things.
Yes.
Me, like this morning, I got up early this morning. We are early risers. I think that's part of success. We can go
Yeah.
at some point. You're
Yeah.
an early riser. You texted me the other morning, like 5 something in the morning, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
love this because I'm like, yeah.
I'm up at 4, man.
4 o'clock in the morning. You know,
Yeah.
the thing about that is by noon, we're thinking the days should be about over. If we don't, we're still working. But
Yeah.
guys like us who are up in the morning doing what we're supposed to be doing and showing consistency, I mean, if you're going to do it with your cold calling, you're going to do it with your direct mailers, you're going to do whatever, just do it. You know, just do it and do it consistently.
Yeah.
You know, in my business, I don't do a lot of cold calling to cold leads. I do more cold calling. I guess they're still kind of cold, but they're warm because they already own the property. So I reach out to them and I'm like, how can I help you? And I build services. That works for me. That's good for me because I'm building rapport. On the retail side,
But what I've noticed about you, you're still getting your 20 contacts a day, but you still get 20 what I've noticed about you. So where I am going cold calling because I'm dealing with a lot of PTSD, they've had bad experiences with their previous agent. You're really going from a consultation side, which is more, they're more open to you. But even though if you don't call, I see you, man. I see what you do. I've been now around you 2 months, and I watch you what you do. And the people that you brought in, you have a network. Your network is your network, so you don't sit down. So I bet you're still making at least 10, 15 contacts a day. I bet you are. And that's the key. It doesn't matter how you get there, whether I make 100 calls or 300 calls. If it comes easier, if you work smart, it doesn't matter. Heck, I know agents that will do once a week in different industries, in insurance and investment. They will do a lunch and learn once a week, pack 50 people in there. That's 50 contacts.
Mm-hmm.
You can be creative the way you want to,
Yes.
Yeah.
What we're doing here.
Yeah.
Reaching out to a massive amount of people. So we're going to have pretty good, for our first episode, and even with mistakes. And that's the thing I think most people are too doing. They're sitting around worried about, am I good enough? Am I going to be okay? My script sucks. Whatever that is. I think there's some sort of hesitancy there. And
Thank God for those people because they make us look good.
Yeah. I think it's easier for us to just will start and do something because I think that perfection oftentimes keeps us from doing the things we need to do. Because it's like I'll make the calls when I perfect the script. You said before, guys who spend thousands of dollars on a web page that they'll never. I mean, what are they building the web page for? They don't have their why behind it. They don't have allegiance on it. They're just doing it activity.
Please themselves. I'll look good. Yeah.
Sure, it makes me look good. But I think where the rubber meets the road, when it comes to these sort of things, no matter what contact you reach out, you got to be genuine. You got to have time to sit down and really get to know people. And I found that curiosity is key on the phone. When you're curious and you start asking questions, you're good at that. A lot of people are not good at that. I have a friend, my mentor, who sits down with me, and he doesn't say a word for like the first 15 minutes we're together. He crosses his leg and he folds his arm and he says, "Tell me about what's going on in your life." You know what? It makes me a little uncomfortable, but guess what it does? It allows me the opportunity just to kind of say things and talk. So what I found is a lot of times, I always tell my wife, my middle son will be the best salesman ever because number one, he's curious about things. Number two is he asks me a question. He'll sit and wait for the answer. It's very uncomfortable during that silence, but you know what? It's a technique that works. I'm going to teach you how to use that on the phone because I'm too quick to talk. You and I are talking, and so when I'm on the phone with someone, sometimes I want to start giving instructions and give information, and then they'll say, "Well, that's not the problem." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Tell me what the problem is," and I have to bring myself back in. Sometimes I think when you get to our level or our stage of life, you start thinking, you can get a little bit more about, "Oh, I know this," and I'm the expert. But what I found is if you're on the phone, people want to be heard. They want to feel special. They want to know that you care. And I find that the better we do that, it doesn't matter what your script is. I mean, you can have the crappiest script in the world.
True.
But if you get on the phone with someone that genuinely cares, that's where I'm going. I'm not golden on that first call. I'm better on that second call when they call me back.
Right. Yeah.
It's uncomfortable for that first call. We all got it. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I want to see.
You discover something that very, very, professionals use. So psychiatrists and psychologists, that's what they do. I took psychology class, and they say if you ask one question and you just hush, the other person just blabbers away. The FBI use that in interrogation. They'll ask you one question, and they'll just sit back. And you just go blabber, blabber, blabber. So yeah, I mean, God gave us 2 ears and one mouth. You got to listen more than we talk. So yeah, I think I'm a better listener now. And occasionally, I'm going to share one example. About 2 months ago, somebody approached me and wanted to join my team. This person was a dream person. He was an awesome. I would love to have him. So he made the decision to move to my team. I didn't listen too well. I was excited. The day when he was supposed to sign with me, he called me. He said, "I'm having second thoughts," and I said, "You've been excited about it a whole week. What do you mean?" His wife was not on board. What did I do? Instead of listening, he said, "My wife is fighting me on this." What did I do? I went to salesman mode. I convinced him to sign with me, and he signed, and he was miserable. 2-3 weeks later, I took him aside, like, "You're not the person. What's going on?" He said, "I'm going to be honest to you, man. I'm not happy." And I just stepped back. I was like, if I had listened to what he said, I'd have saved him grief, and I've saved myself all this time of training in my system. And he went back, and we're still friends. But that taught me a lesson. I need to start listening more instead of try. You know what I'm saying? So I think I've become a better listener, and when I make mistakes like that, I learn from them. So yeah, you're right about being a good listener. So
yeah, I think curiosity is that's something someone's been teaching me. That's part of my new technique is to be more curious, because I've found that curiosity builds more business for me. Because when I start talking to people and I ask them questions, and then I see the feeling that's attached to it, or the emotion that's attached to it. You know, some people have very little emotion to an investment property. It's just a business for them. It's a cash cow. It's free. You talk to them differently than you do the little mom and pop lady that spent her whole life.
yeah, there's a lot more emotion.
Income. So
Yeah.
and there's a lot more emotion. And what I found is instead of being salesy or trying to fix it, I've learned that I listen a little more. I make a lot better, I make a lot better decisions, and I make a lot more opportunities for myself. And I think that when people genuinely know that you care, I think this is the phrase that people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Right.
I think that's super important with anything we're doing on the phone, especially.
Right.
The phone is a very intimate conversation too. Texting is great. Internet is good for messengers and emails and things. But there's something intimate about a
Phone call. Yeah.
And we've gotten away from that as a society. A lot of young agents really.
Oh yeah.
But what I found in this world is even the people that really want to be techie and that sort of thing in our industry, they still love a phone. They love a FaceTime. They can't see a property. Instead of it just being a video you take, interacting with them with that phone, that phone
Yeah.
call and explaining to them. And there's just something intimate about a phone call that I think is missed with texting and that sort of thing.
And you know what's another thing I discovered that's more intimate than a phone call, a video call. You'd be surprised. I tried it once and it worked. Things work for me, and then I veer away from them. I don't know why. I'm thinking of going back. But think about it. It's your birthday. I can text you. I can call you. You're most likely busy. You won't answer. I can get in a video. Hey man, it's Mark. Hi, happy birthday. Have a great day. I hope you have a great day. Sorry I didn't talk to you. Let's catch up. That video is going to get your attention more than anything else. So don't be afraid. And again, I was all about the perfection of it, but it comes down to communication and being in front of people. That's all you do. If you're sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring and for the business to fall, you may have a cousin, you may have a friend you're going to do a one-off here or there. But if you think you can compete at a high level in this industry just by sitting at home, you're a fool. You said something about investment. So I've worked with few investors. They're the easiest deal because an investor, all they care about is the numbers. If the numbers make sense, they buy. I sold a CVS pharmacy here. I sold the lease. The guy was in Beverly Hills. Beverly, I was like, wow. He only buys CVS's all over the country. He didn't see the property. He didn't show up. All he cared was about the numbers. I had to get him the leases, the contract with CVS. He looked at it. It made sense. A check was written. When you come to residential, I cannot tell you how many times I've had goosebumps saying the stories where I'll sell somebody's home and they break down crying. And we made them so much money, and you look, why is she crying? Well, that's where she raised her sons. They've been there 21 years. So there's a lot of emotion, and we don't think about it. To us, it's so. The minute you start becoming transactional as an agent, you lose it, man. And I've been guilty of that. Okay, I have to step back. I'm okay. I do this every day. I know what happens. These people do it once every 10 years, once every 7 years. So you gotta. like you said, you got to be a better listener than just transactional. So I love it. I think we're hitting a lot of points that I love. That I think this is real life experiences, real business experiences. So with that said, with what I've told you, what are good nuggets that you've taken out? What I've told as far as cold calling that you can recommend to, like, you can take on and recommend to other people starting or start new agents and seasoned agents. What do you think you would recommend?
Sure.
Take a nugget or two.
I think when we talked the other day about this too, we were talking about the market shift. That's kind of what today's podcast was supposed to be talking about a little bit. Is the market shift and kind of how we deal with that. There's no more order takers anymore. I mean, this last market, phones were ringing, brokers were pushing their young agents and people to rush and make these calls back into these people. But the way the market shifts now, I think it's that we have to learn that we've got to do this every day. Number one, we've got to be consistent. We've got to have a space to do it. I know you do yours from Starbucks a lot of times. It's a great place to do calling. If you're at home, that's one thing I've found a lot of too times in this world is when you're at home. Everybody's like, "Can you take the kids to school today?" Because they think that you're home, you're not working.
No working, right?
Can you run by the post office? Can you do whatever? So I think what you do very well, and what we both understand is either get an office somewhere or go to the Starbucks, go somewhere where you can be alone, put your AirPods in, sit down and look at that computer and get that numbers and get dialing. I do it. I have several places in Fountain City I do it where I live. People will see me a lot of times at Panera. They'll see me in a couple of local coffee shops. And they'll come in and they'll be like, "Hey, where's Vernon?" They don't realize what I'm doing. I'm in there working. I'm not working for social.
Right.
I still work sometimes. But you know what happens a lot of times is because I'm consistent and I'm there, I make a contact, number one, because people see me out. I've heard you don't ever even put your phone. You always figure out and try to get in touch with somebody. But what I found that was finding that place to go and sit down and focus on what the task at hand. And number two, what you just said too is making the dials. You said we got to make at least 100, get 100 contacts a day.
100 leads, 20 contacts.
100 leads, yeah. And so what I found from that is if I look at my own day, it doesn't have that. It's not that I'm not making enough money, but if I want to hand it up,
you're different from me. You have more warm contacts. So I'm having to make 100 leads to get 20 warm contacts. But with you, I've noticed is when you go to these people, you may have 10 people you talk to, and those are 10 warm. You know what I'm saying? So I think, I don't want to say it comes easy. Your personality, like I've seen you, I've seen the people around you. You have very loyal, very good following. So I've seen that. So by the way, what I do when I go to Starbucks is called bunkering. You bunker yourself. So I used to work at home. Then I got remarried and I have 2 kids. And like you said, my wife thinks I'm playing downstairs. The kids can want to play. It's very distractive. And also, I like white noise. So I cannot come to this office and work. It's too quiet. So I go to Starbucks. Talking about, something just popped in my mind while you were saying, talk about client attraction. I can tell you how many times I go to Starbucks a lot. By the way, I sit outside and I try hard because I don't want to be in the inside. People talk to me, but sometimes I'll go there with an LPT shirt or a Musa Home Marketing jacket when it's cold, and people will stop and sit down and talk to me about real estate. You'd be shocked how many leads I've picked up there. That's another thing. I used to do this at Starbucks, by the way. I call it Community Tuesday. I used to go and put my mugs out there with my name on them, and I used to go to the cashier and give her $50 and say, "Hey, the next 10 people that come in, pay for their stuff. Tell them this is the gentleman down there," and you'd be surprised the contacts I get. So keep yourself out there. But yeah, called bunkering. Bunker yourself, whether it's Starbucks, whatever. I cannot work from home anymore because the kids come in. But put the earpiece and then you can have the occasional. Like I have a friend of mine yesterday. I was at Starbucks. I'm there and he's a good friend. I love him to death. And we start talking. Next thing you know, an hour has gone. I was like, "I'm going to kill you, man. Get out of here." So that was good stuff. So what I've learned from you is you build a community. And let me say something about social media, and that helps with context a little bit. When you post on social media and you see 1 or 2 likes, do not get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. I love it when I see I'll have an unbelievable post and I get 1 or 2 likes, because that means my haters don't like what I have to say, because I have a lot of people there who are my direct competitors, and that means that doesn't mean your post did not resonate. It did. So don't get discouraged if you really want to fish who's looking, go put a video or story, because it tells you how many. You can have 200 views and 3 likes. Jeez.
exactly.
So don't feel like if you're posting, nobody's looking. People are looking. People are looking. I cannot tell you how many times people say, "Man, I see you posting every day." I'm like, "Really? I didn't see a like from you." But who cares about the like? I'm not doing it for you to give me the like. But yeah, so don't be discouraged as far as that goes. But yeah, what I like about you, like I said, you network a lot. You do it differently from me. But what we do both together very well is that we don't stop networking. Whether cold calling or whether you doing it your way or talking to people. Like I said, don't have a lunch alone. Yeah, do that. So we'll end with this. We need to get a better graphic so we can put how people can contact us. The easiest way you can contact me or Vernon is on social media. I'm on Facebook a lot, on Instagram a lot. Just shoot me a messenger, and I'll love to help you if you have any questions about anything. I don't mind sharing my business with anybody. There's enough business for everybody, but if you call me, make sure you're serious about what you want to do, and make sure you're gonna hear the truth, the hard truth. I cannot tell you how many times over the years where people have sat with me and cried and walked away. I've done classes before where people have just grabbed their books and walked away, and I have to chase them down. I'm so sorry, because you hit them with the real what they need to do, and people are used to like watching TV and seeing this job. Nothing in life is easy. Nothing. But I can tell you, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I get to help people on a daily, whether they're having credit issues, to connect them with a lender, or whether they're trying to find the home that they want to bring their mom in to retire. I mean, we help a lot of people. And if you come from contribution, and if you love something you do, like they say, you never work a day in your life. Is it hard? Some days I want to pull my hair. But I'm going to be honest, since this is an honest show, I get more problems out of agents than clients. Agents make your life, can make it easy. If you're working with and there's a lot of great agents in this town, and once I get those agents, man, it's heaven. But a lot of times you work with, unfortunately, I'm going to share one. I called yesterday, and Mike's been trying to put a cash offer for 2 days on her cash offer, full cash offer. Called her, emailed her, texted her. 2 days in a row. There's no documentation on MLS. He called me frustrated. What do you do? So what I did, I called. I called 6 times since she picked up the phone. And I said, "Hey, ma'am," and I was very polite, but I was very firm. I said, "We've been trying to call you, blah, blah, blah." There's no excuse. There's no excuse for you to do that. But yeah, so the difficulty really comes from the agents more than the clients. We'll end with that. Anything you want to add, Vernon?
No, just I think really today our biggest thing is we both agree you've got to do the work, you got to be consistent, you got to have a place to do it. Whether, like I said, it's walking neighborhoods, you get out of your car and walk the neighborhood. Don't drive through the neighborhood and smile at all the neighbors and wave.
Sipping cold water. Yeah.
Cold calling, going out in the community doing the lunch and learn. Just do it. I mean that's, we don't want to use that phrase probably, but it is what it is.
You said another one. Do the work. Do the work. A lot of people say do the work. That's it.
Right. And I don't get out bragging about doing the work. I do the work. I just
Yeah.
do it. I don't talk about it. And the same
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
You're a man who works hard. We do these things because we know that it creates results. And you always say you can live your income. You really can.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
For me, if I don't work for a month or two, I don't eat for 2 or 3 months.
Absolutely. Same here, man. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, today, that's my takeaway today. It doesn't matter what we're doing. We just got to do the work. And so, Mark, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, man. This has been
great.
This has been a chance encounter, man. I'm having goosebumps telling you this. I appreciate you. We click like the yin and yang, and I have another buddy of mine, Mike Harris, is my brother from another mother, so to speak. You were there, man. I feel like we're going to build something special. You're going to make me better. I'm going to make you better. I have a lot of weaknesses that you're going to help me with, and you have a lot of weaknesses. And I'm not ashamed or have a big ego to say I know everything. I don't know everything. When you start talking about marketing, but managing properties, and I'm like, man, I know nothing. I was embarrassed to take a client and I tell them that I know. I'm going to bring him to you. So with that said, let's see how we're going to do this outro. And let's have a good day, everybody. We'll see you next week. I'll probably be in Turkey, the country, okay? So let's see the outro here. Let's see what happens. And here it goes. All right. Have a good day, Vernon.
See you, buddy.
See you, buddy.